Ever since I've dedicated my life to pretty much making art, I always keep an eye out when I'm out and about to find new inspiration. As a Lebanese artist living in Lebanon, I personally love getting inspired from old Lebanese or Beiruti architecture. As we go around Lebanon in our Sundays road trip, I always see this beautiful house, and I decided to start my Lebanese architecture study with this house. So I took myself to Youmouf and went to see this house closely from another angle than the one from the highway. I was actually shocked because I never realized how huge this house is. I tried to find someone to talk to and learn more about this beautiful house, but I didn't want to annoy anyone. So I took a bunch of pictures for reference and went straight to a cafe nearby. It's been a while since I treated my projects like I used to do in uni. I really wanted to know more about this house rather than just seeing it, drawing it, and that's it. This house is called Mdawar 479, aka the Blue House. I saw this picture in an article that I will be linking below, and there is this house. I read that it was the house of an important merchant, and recently before the blast, it was a restaurant. This house was heavily destroyed due to the Beirut blast, and it was restored by Beirut Heritage Initiative. It feels good to know that I am not the only one who thinks Lebanese architecture is beautiful and is worth restoring and protecting. Just so you know, I go to a lot of cafes, especially the ones that open in old Lebanese houses. It's just a principle I have. I really enjoy drawing outside my house with a nice view and see people talking and having fun. I do a lot of things to stay inspired and motivated, and this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. Inspiration when it comes to art is a word I've been hearing ever since I got into graphic design like 6 years ago. If you Google the word inspiration, you get process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative, or a feeling of enthusiasm you get from someone or something that gives you new and creative ideas. I did struggle with inspiration a lot when in uni doing my projects, I do remember that, and I definitely had a whole different definition for it. After graduation and after shifting a bit towards art and farther away from design, I felt more free to work on my personal projects, and I kind of didn't struggle with inspiration that much. Unlike inspiration, motivation is something I do struggle with when I'm working on personal projects. In uni, motivation came from, I don't know, maybe the need to graduate on time, or the grades, or learning and gaining new skills. But after graduation, I found it hard to get motivated enough. I felt very inspired and had so much ideas, but the motivation was just not there. It was like just doing the bare minimum, and I wasn't challenging myself enough to get all the creative ideas out of my brain and onto paper. This weird imbalance between motivation and inspiration was obviously affecting my art. I always said to myself that if I had equally a lot of motivation and inspiration, then I will create projects I never even thought would come out of my hands. But how many times have you thought of an idea or saw something, especially with how much time we spend on the internet today, and you were so inspired, but there wasn't a force pushing you, or there wasn't a specific reason for you to create that idea? I've experienced that numerous times. Motivation was just not there. Why am I creating all of this? Why would I experiment with all these different mediums? No, I'd better make some money and make myself a living in what is on my degree. That's safer. As weird as this might sound, YouTube has helped me tremendously with finding a motivation to explore art. Even though I am a baby channel, making a video gives me a lot of reason to explore. I saw my old friend a while ago and she was asking me about my channel, and I told her that I feel like I bought a home on YouTube and now I have a lot of visitors. One thing that my design teacher told us in uni that really stuck with me all this time is that getting inspired from their beautiful culture is what makes Iranian designers and artists so great. Obviously, Iranian culture is so beautiful, but the fact that Iranian designers go back to their roots and get inspired from the thousands of years of culture accumulated on their land is really what makes off of their art and design so admirable. I look back at Beirut and I find a lot as well, a lot to get inspired from. After all the horrible things that Beirut or Lebanon as a whole has been through, I still see the charm and the beauty. Maybe the fact that old Lebanese architecture is now replaced by characterless buildings is why these few old houses stand out to me and people in Lebanon. A source of inspiration, like this house for example, can have many different executions, and that results to a lot of exploration. To calculate the roof, I used the Pythagore theory, which honestly I haven't done in years. I haven't done any math for more than 6 or 7 years. I always hated math, but for the first time, it was actually enjoyable, and I was very happy to see that the roof worked because of my calculations. So after all, math is useful in real life. As I mentioned in my last video about my art resolutions for 2023, being an explorer is the title of this year. Exploring new territories, but also going back to old forgotten territories. In order to explore as much as possible this year, I'm trying to stay inspired and motivated at the same time. Inspiration can come from all sorts of places. Maybe not always in a museum or an art book, not to say that you can't find a ton of inspiration from those, but the streets, a farmer's market, a dish in a restaurant, a sunset on the beach, a fashionable outfit, or even a washing machine, all of these can be good inspiration someday. That's why I always keep an eye out for inspiration. I remember watching a video about how fragrances are made, and one company came to the fragrance company and requested that they make them a perfume, and they gave them a brief with one word: black. Inspiration can sometimes be very unrelated to your art, but it is your job to connect two different things to create a unique masterpiece. Inspiration is not enough to create good art. You need motivation and a lot of dedication, at least to keep on going, not to stop on one project. Do you know what the real motivation is though? It's when your hands surprise you with their ability to create good art. Be nice to yourself, don't self-sabotage your projects, see the good in them and improve. I always give credits to myself like, wow, you did a good job, Youmouf.